My dear students, you are welcome to today's lecture, which has to do with types of prose fiction. We should not forget the lecture is one of the series of lectures on Literature 101, Introduction to Prose Fiction. Today, we are looking at types of prose. Before now, we have looked at one of the types of prose, which is the novel. But today, we will look at the remaining types of the novel, which are the novella, the novelette, and the short story. Before we proceed, we need to remind ourselves of the fact that by the end of this lecture, you should be able to identify and explain the different types of prose fiction we have and separate one type from the other through the presentation or explanation of the features that set each of the types apart from the other ones. So we are starting with the novella. The word novella originated from the Italian word novella, which means new. And if you are familiar with the word novel, you will see that one of the contexts for describing the word novel is something new, something like a new concept, a novel concept, a new idea, a new thought. So that can be extended to the word novella. That is why the novella as a type of prose fiction is described as a short or shorter form of the novel, falling between a novelette and a novel. It is not as big as a novel that we talked about previously, but is longer in size than a novelette. So, by way of defining it, the novella allows for more extended development of theme and character than novelette and a short story, while avoiding the elaborate structural demands of a full-length novel. It has all the characteristics of the novel. The only difference is that it's not as elaborate in structure and in full length compared to the novel. That's why when we look at it from word count, we'll see that while the novel is at least 170 pages or 50,000 words, the novella is between 17,500 words and 50,000 words, which means between 60 and 170 pages. We have some works that could be regarded as novella in form. Among them are Animal Farm, written by George Orwell, The Old Man and the Sea, written by Ernest Hemingway, and A Christmas Carol, written by Charles Dickens. We also have Heart of Darkness, written by Joseph Conrad. For novelettes, we have mentioned that the novella is shorter in size compared to a novel, but longer in size compared to a novelette. That means that when we talk about the novelette, we are talking about a work of narration that is shorter than the novella. However, is longer in size than the short or a short story. So it's a work of fiction that's longer than a short story but shorter than a novella. So we can look at a novelette as a work of fiction that falls between 7,500 words and 17,500 words. It allows for more development of plot and characterization than we have that in the case of a short story. Well, one thing that makes it to be unique in itself is that while it is longer than a short story, it is shorter than a novella. So novelettes are often intended to be read in one sitting. While the novel can take one some time, or as well the novella can take some time. The novelette can be read at a sitting. So we have some examples of novelettes. Some of them are The Call of Shohone, written by H.P. Lovecraft, and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, written by F. Scott Fitzgerald. For short story, we are talking about a brief work of fiction that typically focuses on a single character, event, or theme. It is concise and can be read in one sitting. It is the shortest of them all. It is shorter than the novelette. And when we talk about word count, is between a few hundred words and 7,500 words. We have some examples of short stories that or narrative works that are short stories in nature. Examples of them or these include The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe and The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. As a way of summarizing what we have done in this series, we have looked at we can mention the following. We have looked at types of prose fiction in their various categories based on the word count and the page number or the number of pages they have. So as a way of summarizing, we can look at them from the shortest to the longest. So the shortest of them is short story, which has between 2,000 words and 7,500 words. That is between 5 and 25 pages. We have novelette, which is between 7,500 words and 17,500 words, which could be between 25 to 60 pages. And we have the novella, which has 17,500 words to 50,000 words, which could be between 60 and 170 pages. While the novel is much more elaborate and it will making it to have at least 50,000 words, giving us at least 170 pages. So by this, I think we should be able to, when we pick up a narrative work, we should be able to identify whether that work is a novel, a novella, a novelette, or a short story, based on the word count and the number of pages such work of art or narrative work has. So, as usual, I will encourage you to provide answers to the questions that are attached to this presentation. In case you are not sure of the answers, or you are not sure of answers to the questions, you are at the liberty to go through the presentation as many times as you can before going through the questions. Then you provide answers. If you are not satisfied with the scores you are going to get or the score you are going to get, you are at the liberty to go through the presentation again, then provide your answers. You might be lucky to have more scores. Don't forget, we are going to put all these scores together to determine your CA for this course. So before we meet next time, I appreciate you listening to this and I wish you the best. Thank you.